A very good evening to all of you. Today we would be talking about the UPSC Prelims and Mains 2023. So if you are an aspirant for civil services, what is the right strategy to prepare? With around 2 months left for your prelims, what are the key things that you must keep in mind and what should be an ideal strategy for preparation? Now, as I said, you have just 2 months in hand, so the right time to start for your prelims preparation is now. So at this point, I would definitely recommend that you start with your prelims preparation. Now, prelims comprises of two sections. One is the GS section and the other is the CSAT section. So CSAT section is the qualifying section. In the GS section, you can practice questions, mock tests you can give, but I would definitely recommend that you go through the recent Yojana Kurukshetra down to earth that we have been covering on the channel through the various days, and this is every fortnightly which is covered into the system. So it's very important that you cover the Yojana Kurukshetra and down to earth, and then focus on the various aspects and the topics which relate to the questions pertaining to science and technology defense. So through the coming 2 months, we have released a series of expected questions on different topics that would be coming forth. So if you are subscribed on the channel, you would have a regular update based on various important sources, the government notifications, based on some of the important international researches. We have come across with some of the most important topics that you must cover for your GS section. Now coming on to the CSAT section. CSAT section, as I said, is a qualifying section. Now in CSAT, you can first identify whether you are weak in mathematics or weak in reading comprehension, and based on that you would have a preparation schedule. Now let's say if you are able to solve the reading comprehension questions but you are weak at mathematics, then you would need to practice more on mathematics. You can go through the lecture courses, the study material, but the most important thing by all means is practice questions. So practice as many questions as you can, and if you go here, you would see the list of topics. Now here are the list of topics. Now let's say if you are weak in mathematics, you'll have to go through comprehension and problem solving, permutation, combinations, extremely important, must to be covered for your prelims examination. Now meanwhile, as we discussed, if you have any questions or queries, you can post those in the comment section. There is a very important concern from students that some of the students prepare for UPSC for let's say 2 months or 3 months, and then they feel it's not my cup of tea, I should drop this preparation. Now dropping everything is easy, but retaining things are difficult. So just keep that in mind, that you are not committing to early failures and taking strong decisions in life, because ultimately you want to have a strong career with you, right? So this was about the prelims. Now coming on to mains, you have compulsory Hindi English, then general studies as a common paper for paper 1, 2, 3, 4, which we have combined into a single section. So all the paper 4 preparations are available here, and within this you would have the complete video course for all the 4 papers, including the ethics section, and then essay. Now essay these days have become very philosophical. So if you go on to the topics of essay, you would see that there are numerous philosophical topics that are asked. For example, I take a very simple example. Why are round bottles stored in square boxes? Now the concept, or I could say this is based on the philosophy of square and round, a very important concept and a dualism of mind, and this is one of the things that could be part of your essay writing, for example. So you have to have a philosophical mindset when you are attempting your answers. So let's say if I go here, let me have a quick overview for you. Okay, so let's go to some of the questions here, and when I go to writing essays, you would see the list of topics. For example, let me move on to the last page, and that would help you a lot. Okay, so for example, a good life is one inspired by love and guided by knowledge. Courage to accept and decision to improve are two keys to success. So this was part of your 2019 paper. Okay, similarly you had joy is the simplest form of gratitude as one of the topics. Then there were topics on green growth, poverty, is choice based credit system good for higher education, then is growing level of competition good for children was another topic. And these are some science and spirituality and their compatibilities, the new generation of fast foods. A very important question that was asked in one of the recent papers, and that is, a ship in harbors is safe but that is not what is a ship for. Now this answer only, we have various writing styles, so writing style 2, writing style 3 for the same answer, and the idea is to help you understand what kind of questions are asked with UPSC. So these were some of the questions pertaining to essay writing. Now coming on next is the various optionals, right? So among the optionals you have a series of optionals that are available. So based on what you have picked, don't go by what toppers have secured in the optionals, but have a sound understanding about your own choice and your own decisions. So let's say if you are from geography background, you can take geography as one of the optionals. If you are from botany background, zoology background, you can pick that as one of the optionals. But yes, whatever optional you pick, stick to it. Don't take an optional and switch after 1 year of preparation. You give first attempt and you feel that I secured less in my optional, so now it's a time to change the optional. Definitely not. So if you have taken an optional, despite the fact you are securing less in that optional, prepare with that optional only and start practicing as much as you can. So that's again a very important strategy. For example, there are numerous students from medical science, now they switch optional to other subjects. Now if you retain medical science as an optional, definitely you would have lesser competition, and therefore you would have less number of people who would qualify through medical science as a subject. Now definitely understand there is a proportional representation. That means if there are 100 people from medical science and one gets qualified, and 10,000 people from political science, 100 gets qualified. So when you listen to the masses, you would say, oh, political science is a popular subject, but that's not like what we think. It's just a proportional selection from every branch and every subject. So it's really important that you keep in mind the list of subjects that you have a sound interest in, and you continue preparing with those subjects. So it's extremely important. Even students from medical background opt for psychology. They definitely, if you have interest in psychiatry, then psychology is something very close to it. It's close to your PSM and close to your psychiatry as subject. So psychology could be an easy match for students from medical science. Similarly, students from geology or earth sciences can opt for geology as an optional or geography as an optional. So again, those are close cutting subjects. So you have to be very comprehensive. Now those students who have philosophy as a subject definitely benefit in essay writing these days. Students with public administration would benefit with GS paper 4, which is the ethics and public administration section. And then literature students, definitely if you are having a good command over language, literature is a good choice for students with good command over language and an interest to read novels and related phenomena. If you are from engineering background, you can definitely opt for engineering as a subject, but make sure you have a good GPA in your engineering, because another benefit of picking engineering as a subject here is what? The benefit is you can also simultaneously prepare for Indian Engineering Services. You can also prepare for Indian Railway Management Services, IRMS. This time the vacancies for IRMS has not been released, but yes, IRMS is again a good option. Those who have done their LLB, LLM can pick law as a subject. So it's not required that you go for a popular optional which is popular in the market. Pick a optional in which you have interest, in which you have a sound background and a good score. Let's say you are a student of civil engineering, but you don't have a good GPA during your college time, then it makes a sense that you can switch the subject because you don't have a good command over the subject. So you have to decide judiciously, but I again say the one and the only thing is whatever you take, stick to it. It's like a marriage. You don't have an option to go back, right? So once you have picked an optional, keep to it, stick to it, and don't just deviate from one optional to another. Meanwhile, any questions are welcome. There is a question, is EPFO better than state civil services? Like, there is a very important discussion. A lot of students are going for EPFO these days. Definitely you have a secure career, but one thing I would recommend at this point of time is, since you are going for government exams, appear for all exams, right? Once you get qualified, then you can take a call whether you want to go for EPFO or you want to go for a state public service commission. Now this would depend on your ranking in your state public service commission, the place where you are getting posted, and the nature of the level or the branch that you are getting, right? So there are various important things that you must keep in mind. Upfrontly, you cannot say that EPFO is better, I want to prepare for EPFO, or state services are better. Some of the states don't have state service exams regularly every year, and the results are pending for last 2 years. So in that case, going for a state service would require a lot of time and devotion. But keeping all those things, the nitty-gritties away, at this point when you are preparing for competitive exam, your sole focus would be all government exams that appear into the same cadre and you think that you can qualify. You must fill the forms for those examinations. You should not give it a thought whether this is better or that is better. That is something we would decide once both of the exams are qualified and we have a final call where to join. Okay, so that time you can definitely come ahead, contact me personally, and we can have a one-on-one consultation about what are the options that we are having and what would be a better option in future, right? Thanks Ankit for following. And yes, another important thing is, in case you have any feedbacks, any specific topics that you want to request, you can definitely email us personally or post those in the comment as well. These days we are starting with another series which is ICSE history. So ICSE is another important thing. So NCRTs are definitely considered as the base, but top of NCRT, it's important that certain topics, specifically the world history, the ancient history, if you cover from ICSE, it would give you a sound base for your prelims examination as well as a foundation for your mains preparation, right? So we would be covering those, and then another important thing, as I mentioned, is the series of expected questions which would be coming in the next 2 months. Those would be pertaining to defense, tribal development. So tribal development extremely important this year. In Yojana there was a special segment on tribal section. So tribal development, tribal literatures, tribal leaders, all three extremely important. Ankit has a question for geography. What should I do for UPSC? So Ankit, for geography we have the complete material. You can have the books in hand, or the study material is available in the online format as well. So this is the online format of the study material, and then we do have an option for the postal course. Even if you want the lectures are available on a monthly subscription, so at a very reasonably priced, everything is at a very reasonable level. So the idea is, your lecture course is on a monthly subscription and remaining all subscriptions are on a 3-year basis subscription. Now the test evaluations, if you want to go for, I would recommend start those immediately after your prelims. Don't wait for the results to be out, because once you wait for the result to be out and then you start sending the test, at that time we have the peak load and there is definite delays, because we do give personalized phone calls for each and every test that you attempt. Okay, so make sure you start it immediately after your prelims is over and submit it regularly. Don't wait for the mains result. There is a question, how to cover map based questions. Now map based questions, in the question section, if you go on to the question section, we have a huge number of maps, the past, all the solutions to the past year questions in the question bank. Along with that, there is the important locations, contemporary locations that are covered. And then in the postal course itself, the maps book is included. So those who are going for the postal course would get a specific book which is dedicated to maps. So 3 books which contain the physical geography, human geography, and India geography, and the 4th book which is the maps. And this map book would be useful not only for your mains preparation but also for your prelims preparation in totality. So that is how you can go for it. Okay, now coming here are the list of topics that you can see, and then you have the list of topics which is available. So you can just click that and see the list of topics which come in for each of the books. So for every book you would have the list of topics. You can just visualize before getting the material, and you can also view the sample, right? So for example, this is the sample for the human geography, like what are the topics. Now recently these are the topics which have been included for your net, okay, and therefore questions from these become important for your UPSC as well. So Schaeffer-Hatchin debate, then the 4 philosophies in geographical education, Charles Darwin and impact of Charles Darwin, the time geography, Hagestand's concept, okay, then definitely you do have every time one question on the determinism, possibilism, environmentalism, humanistic geography, welfare geography. So that's there. And then from economic geography, some important topics include education, research and development industries, how they have flourished and their growth. The von Thunen model, its application in the real world, but the modifications of the model. For example, Alonso's model, Jonassen model, and Robert Sinclair model. Similarly, we have the Weber's model, and then the Losch model and the Hotling's model as a modification. The same goes for population geography, settlement geography, social geography, cultural geography, political geography, the geopolitics of resources, and all these details have been covered. Now this time electoral geopolitics or electoral geography actually becomes very important. So geography of public finances, then regional planning, are some of the important topics, the strategies for regional planning. Bharat has a question related to GS CSAT paper 2. Now CSAT paper 2, as I said, if you go back here, you can go for the lecture course, just 30 lectures, and this would give you a quick overview about most of the topics in prelims, and then you can have practice. Now you can, if you are having your books with you, practice those. If not, we have included numerous reading comprehension practice problems in the question bank. So here you have around 2000 plus questions with numerous questions pertaining to reading comprehension and how those must be attempted. So taking all those into account, you can have a quick overview about the CSAT section, and this would give you an insight about how to prepare. But keeping that in mind that this is a qualifying paper, prepare around 2 to 3 hours for it, not more than that, and that should suffice for the next 2 months. If you are doing that consistently, you are all set with it. Okay, so I believe Bharat, your query was well addressed. Ankit, your query was again addressed. Shehnawaz, yes. And okay, in case you have any other questions or queries, you can connect with me directly. We do offer free one-on-one consultation. So definitely before spending a huge lump sum amount into any institute, keep this in mind that you are making judicious use of the material, and the material that you are using is authentic and quality material. So those two things, keeping that in mind, I would like to wind up this section. And in case you have any questions, any queries, post those in the comment section. Wish you very good luck. Have a wonderful evening ahead.